At first glance, Disintegration looks like a whole lot of ingredients from different genres stylishly mashed together. One part futuristic first-person shooter, one part action-focused airship piloting, a heavy dose of strategy elements like troop commands, ability combos, and cooldown rotations. It can seem like a lot. And on paper, that's what Disintegration is, a game of many different layers. You'd think those elements might clash. Precision gunplay, frantic aerial dodging, the careful issuing of orders from on high. But all those pieces, somehow, working harmoniously is what supports V1 Interactive's grand design. Going into it, I had reservations. How do you pilot a flying grav cycle on 3 axes, command a squad of troops and manage their abilities, and still find the free time to gun down your robotic enemies? 5 minutes after putting my hands on the controller, before I'd even finished the tutorial really, I hit that moment where everything just clicked. And while I blasted through each engagement, managing my grav cycle gun triggers while marking targets for my squad, while whipping sweet boosted hairpin flanks, while lobbing healing orbs and calling in artillery barrages, that's when it dawned on me, Disintegration just works. And more than that, it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. While I can't talk too much about V1 Interactive's story, here are the very loose basics. Disintegration takes place over a century in the future where war, famine, and a plague-like outbreak have driven humanity to the verge of collapse. To survive, humans discover a stopgap measure, a process they call integration, whereby they literally transplant their brains and beings into robotic armatures to survive until a cure is found. Now everything's looking up, but not everyone wants to eventually go back to being an organic human, a natural, as they're called. In the wake of this global shift to integration, a militarized regime of integrated called the Rayon emerge. They're a global superpower, roaming the world in their city-sized ships called Iron Clouds, hunting for humans or free-thinking integrated known as outlaws to capture and conscript. Those who won't be conscripted resist, a civil war breaks out all over the world, and that's where we pick up. We play as Romer Scholl, a grav cycle pilot and de facto leader of a group of free-thinking outlaws in the smoldering husk of North America, looking to rescue and rebuild some semblance of the resistance while dodging the relentless pursuit of the Rayon. But the crux of Disintegration is the grav cycle, these single-seat vehicles that hover in the sky and spit shells from twin Gatling guns or pound round after round of explosive-tipped heavy cannon ordnance at an endless menagerie of robotic enemies. The grav cycle is only part of your arsenal. Using your bird's eye view, you'll command your up to 4-person squad, everything from assigning them locations to move to, which targets to focus on, and when and where to use their abilities. And while all that may sound overwhelming, it's all intuitively done with the press of a button, which is what makes Disintegration feel so good to play. These squad companions that are unlocked throughout the campaign come loaded for bear with stun-inducing concussion grenades, salvos of artillery, seismic AoE ground pounds, and much more. And they all combo with one another in some way, along with your weapons for increased damage, which gives you the opportunity to feel like a tactical genius when you execute the perfect stun artillery combo against a horde of mindless robotic zealots, or get off a crucial, vital, necessary stun against a mammoth, building-sized, plasma-spewing tank monstrosity seconds before it deletes you from existence. Your troops' abilities are vital because Disintegration is not what I would call easy. It's easy to get overwhelmed, but that's what's really refreshing about my time playing Disintegration. It's not just about reaction time, it's about decision-making and efficiency. How best to spend each second, 1 second at a time. But there are many seconds to be had between the checkpoints of each long story mission. Both missions I played had me salvaging scrap for repairs and upgrades at the start. I've got the call! But things always seem to go sideways at some point, and I'd find myself defending enclaves of outlaws. Each mission unfolds with subplots, off-the-path exploration, secondary objectives, scripted counterattacks, and a constantly growing bestiary of mechanical Rayon enemy types that hurl techno-wizardry with excellently throbbing sci-fi sound design.
Going for the kill! That's a kill!
And between the unyielding shooting, commanding, prioritizing, and just trying to survive each mission, there's time for reflection where you get to know the cast of characters.
Were you two having a moment?
Who are humanized with unique visual touches and some top-notch emotive voice acting.
Oh yeah! I found myself an upgrade chip.
Or you can pick up challenges or just ingest some of the fleshed out lore and world building. But before long, you're on to the next pressing mission, leveling up your grav cycle with salvage materials and trying to survive another frantic engagement in the long shadows cast by the Rayon. Once you get started, there's always something you could and probably should be doing at any given second. And I love that feeling. There's so much more Disintegration to dive into. For my extended thoughts, you can check out my full written impressions on IGN.com, and be sure to stay tuned all month long as we dive more into the story elements. We reveal full gameplay missions and deep dive into Disintegration's awesome multiplayer suite to get you ready for an eventual beta. We're covering Disintegration all month long as part of IGN First, so for more of this and everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
Took 'em down.